always been fascinated by the classic Etch-a-Sketch. It's interesting to me how difficult it is for a human to coordinate movements even as simple as twisting two knobs at the same time. A diagonal line can be really tricky, but a decent circle is almost impossible, at least for me. This is my legitimate attempt at a perfect circle compared to the machine. I feel like I almost always get distracted and forget which knob needs to be turned which way, so I end up with something that looks a lot like a potato. The thing about machines is they don't forget, they don't get distracted, and they are really good at following instructions. Hey everyone, welcome back to Engineering Illustrated. My name's Parker, and I'm a mechanical engineering student who loves building things. This summer I wanted to take on a project, but I wanted to challenge my coding skills without having to spend weeks designing and building a mechanical system. I thought the Etch-a-Sketch presented the perfect opportunity, since the mechanical side is already built. With that being said, I know that this isn't an optimal solution. It can and actually has recently been done better, but I wanted to focus on learning something new, which is why I chose to write the bulk of the software myself, instead of relying on things like Gerbil and G-code that already exist. Before we get into building the bot, let's take a look at the software side to see what's going on inside the brains of the computer. So the way the program works is you pass it an image and it detects the edges of that image. And that's done using a Python library called OpenCV, which I did not write and is way above my pay grade. The edge detection algorithm returns a NumPy array, which is basically just a big grid of numbers. And the grid contains either 0 or 255, where 255 represents the edges of the image that we want to trace. The goal of my tracing algorithm is to find all of those 255s and make one path that connects them. Even though this car is cool, it's pretty complicated, so let's take a look at a simpler example. Starting in the top left corner, the computer uses a spiral search algorithm to find the closest cell containing 255. If a 255 is found, the value of that cell is changed to a number that is not 0 or 255 so we don't accidentally find it again. The program then follows the line using what I call the TX pattern, checking first the cells immediately adjacent to the active cell, then checking the diagonal corners. Once the end of a line is found, the spiral search algorithm is called again from that point, and it spirals out to find the next closest line to follow. It keeps finding new lines and following them to the end until all of the 255 values in the grid are found. It sounds pretty simple, but even simple problems like this can have tons of things that go into them. For example, pause the video and see if you can figure out why the TX algorithm is better than the spiral search for following lines. This isn't a perfect solution, and honestly, it leaves a little bit to be desired. Sometimes it makes big jumps and leaves giant lines across the drawing, but it does get all the points it needs to and does a good job at following the line, so I think it's good enough for now. During development, I use Turtle, which is a Python drawing package, in order to simulate the Etch-a-Sketch because it's so much faster than the real thing. Once the edges are found and the path is generated, the computer sends those commands over to the Etch-a-Sketch. Now that we understand what the computer's doing, let's talk hardware. My initial thought was to use these cheap stepper motors. They're like $1 each, and so I figured I couldn't go too far wrong with them. The idea was simple: directly connect one stepper motor to each knob on the Etch-a-Sketch, mount the motor drivers and the Arduino, connect everything up, and then build a frame to hold everything in place. After that, it's as simple as plugging it in and sending it commands.
Right.
So I designed the frame and knob adapters in SolidWorks, and since I didn't want to damage the Etch-a-Sketch, especially on the first prototype, everything was designed to kind of like click into place, at least in theory. I sent my designs to the 3D printer, and a few hours later I assembled the first prototype. This design attached the motors directly to the knobs on the Etch-a-Sketch, which simplifies the design but doesn't provide any mechanical advantage. Because this was the first prototype, the Arduino just kind of sits off to the side. In order to test the motors, I had the Etch-a-Sketch draw a simple square. The side-to-side movement was pretty okay-ish, but the vertical movement was not great. Literally anyone who understands how an Etch-a-Sketch works could have done better. There's an old saying that goes, a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle is not a square, so I guess this doesn't count. After a few more attempts, I realized that the motors just weren't powerful enough to move the knobs consistently. I researched a bit and found that it's possible to increase the power of these motors by adding resistors and rewiring them in a specific way, but turns out I'm not that good at soldering and it was taking forever. That's when I realized why push these motors to their absolute limits when I could just get
more power, baby.
So we're back to the drawing board. The design and build process for the more powerful version 2 was pretty similar to the first, but I forgot to record most of it. If you're interested in more detail on the design process, prototype considerations, or 3D modeling of this or similar builds, let me know in the comments and I'll be sure to include it in future videos. Here's the plan for version 2. This time we're going to put the frame behind the Etch-a-Sketch. I'll keep the same Arduino, but this time we're going to add a circuit board called a CNC shield, which conveniently adds the motor controllers right onto the Arduino. The big motors are mounted below, which means we will need belts to attach to the knobs. Connect everything up, add and attach a power supply, simply plug it in, and send commands.
Right.
This time I upgraded to NEMA 17 motors, which I salvaged from an old 3D printer. Google says they're at least 5 times more powerful than the first motors I used, and I also borrowed the printer's power supply, which provides way more power than these motors need, so we should have absolutely zero issues with enough power. Once everything was assembled, I got audacious and skipped the square, which means it's time for the ultimate test, drawing a circle. Because I made the knobs belt driven, the spacing between the knob and the motor spindle needed to be fairly precise, which it wasn't. So I had to hold the setup in place for the first test. After it had drawn the first circle, I did some premium engineering and made some spacers out of duct tape to ensure the belt tension was close enough to make it work. The first test circle had slightly flattened sides, which was still way better than I could draw, but it was confusing because the preview on the computer showed that the code was working fine. Eventually I realized that an Etch-a-Sketch is a toy and, in fact, not a high-precision CNC gantry, which basically means there was some slack in the mechanism that was causing the drawing tool to need to sort of wind back up before it could change direction. Luckily, I was able to kind of work around this in the software by adding an extra rotation whenever a direction change was detected. After tweaking the code, I ran another circle test, and this time it came out looking nothing like a potato. The purpose of this project was to allow me to learn something that I didn't know how to do, which brings me to this video's sponsor. It's me, I'm the sponsor. I love building machines and learning stuff, and I hope that I can share that curiosity with you through these videos. I've enjoyed making this video and building the Etch-a-Sketch, and if you've enjoyed watching, consider giving it a thumbs up to let the algorithm know that you've enjoyed it, and to let me know that I'm doing a good job and that I should make more. Now that the machine actually works, let's see what it can do. Enjoy the sketch montage while I tell you about the upgrades that I have considered for the next version. The biggest downfall of this machine is its speed. It's almost painfully slow. Here it is in real time. Both the motors and the internal mechanism in the Etch-a-Sketch can handle much faster movement, so the method of sending commands is the main bottleneck. Switching the commands to a vector or velocity-driven system might make for smoother and faster motion, and so I'm considering doing that. Another idea is to implement G-code and Gerbil to manage more complex designs and increase the speed. If you don't know what that is, it's basically what runs on a 3D printer or CNC machine, or anything like that. I also think a direct drive system would greatly reduce complexity and increase reliability. And with the added power of the larger motors, I don't think that we would have any issue turning the knobs. Also, the machine isn't packaged very well. The power supply is kind of free floating and the Etch-a-Sketch isn't actually attached, it just holds in place with tension. But this is just the second prototype, so I'm not too worried about that, but it's an important consideration for the future. In this project, I learned, or rather was reminded, of the importance of doing research on what similar work already exists. The method that I chose to follow the lines, as well as control the motors, would have both changed significantly for the better if I had just looked at existing research and other people's projects. I'm planning to build a version 3 that incorporates the upgrades I just mentioned. I'm thinking about a handheld direct drive system that could kind of click onto any Etch-a-Sketch, allowing me to leave masterpieces wherever I go. But I would love to hear what upgrades you would make. Let me know in the comments how you would make this better. If you found this project interesting, let me know what you think I should build next. I've got a couple ideas in mind, but I would love to hear your suggestions. Thanks for watching, and if you feel like this video earned your subscription, click right up there to be notified when I post the next video, and if not, I hope to see you in the next one.